We have a crisis in the world, tremendous crisis, and also crisis in our consciousness, in us. I see the urgency of change, radical revolution, mutation in the mind. I see it. It is necessary. There is complete quietness of the mind, and that which is silent has vast space. Only then that which is nameless comes into being.
This is Urgency of Change, the Krishnamurti podcast. Religion means to live daily life in goodness. Goodness being compassionate, kind, and generous. Hello and welcome to episode 280 of Urgency of Change. The Krishnamurti podcast features carefully selected extracts from Krishnamurti's recorded talks. Each episode highlights his different approaches to universal and timeless themes that affect our everyday lives, the state of the world, and the future of humanity. This episode's theme is goodness and generosity. Upcoming themes are civilization, vulnerability, and science. This is a podcast from Krishnamurti Foundation Trust, based at Brockwood Park in Hampshire, UK. Brockwood is also home to Brockwood Park School, a unique international boarding school offering a personalised holistic education inspired by Krishnamurti's teachings. Please visit brockwood.org.uk for more information. You can also find our regular Krishnamurti quotes and videos on Instagram, TikTok and Facebook at Krishnamurti Foundation Trust. If you enjoy the podcast, please leave a review or rating on your podcast app. This episode on goodness and generosity has 5 sections. This first extract is from Krishnamurti's third talk in Rishi Valley, 1973, and is titled Educating Children to Flower in Goodness.
We came upon rather something interesting. It is possible to educate a student like yourselves to flower in goodness. The word goodness means many things to many people. But I think goodness essentially is a quality of mind which is not self-centered. A mind that isn't concerned with itself. And whether such goodness can flower, grow to abundance in a student living in Rishi Valley. And is it possible in teaching mathematics or history or any other subject to cultivate, as you cultivate a plant, to cultivate this goodness, this sense of affection, generosity, love, an active life without ambition. Because ambition and goodness don't go together. So we were discussing yesterday morning, day before yesterday morning, this whole problem. How? And the student may not be interested in it, but yet, in spite of him, to create an atmosphere, a sense of this beauty of goodness, to live in that atmosphere, in that ambiance, in that state of mind which is always aware of not only of the outward things, but also inwardly, so that he lives in total harmony. You've understood what I'm talking about? At least some of it. Whether you can go out in the world after you've been here for 10 years, or perhaps more or less, whether you can live in the world and not become of the world. The world is not good. The world doesn't know what goodness is. They know how to make money. They know how to get power, position, compete with each other, fight each other, quarrel with each other, bring about wars. And whether you, when you live here in this lovely valley, all the lovely trees and the beautiful hills, whether you can live in that goodness, that is, to me, the essence of education. Not merely getting some degrees and passing examinations and getting a job, but to live in this sense of goodness and to flower in that all your life. And that is the very essence also of religion. Religion has nothing to do with belief, with all the miracles, with the temples, churches, mosques. What is religion? Is to live daily, not occasionally on Sunday when you go off to the temple or do something or other, but to live daily in your relationship with your husband, with your wife, with your children, with your friends, in the sense of goodness. And the teacher, and you may not know the full meaning of that word. He and you may not be living that way, but teaching each other. You understand what I mean, what I'm saying? He teaches you what goodness is, and in the very teaching of that very goodness, he's also becoming good. So, in teaching mathematics or whatever it is, how can a teacher and you establish a relationship between you two on the ground of goodness? You understand what I'm saying? Not quite. Look, you come from homes where they have not this sense of rich, full, beautiful goodness in the sense that you live with great affection for people, not only for your wife and children, for people, for humanity, where you are generous, not competitive, But you're not thinking about yourself and your little family or your little achievement. Trying to become something, have power, position, prestige, bigger houses, or more money. That's not goodness. So, can a teacher convey to you and bring about in you as well as in the teacher this sense of freedom to live a good life? Suppose I'm your teacher. I'm teaching you history or English literature. How am I to convey to you that feeling of freedom? Not what you want to do, not what you think, whatever to do, whatever you like, but to flower in freedom, which is goodness. How am I, if I am your teacher, to tell you that? In teaching English literature. You've understood my question? Huh? Have you? I'm your teacher. I'm teaching you English literature. And my feeling is that you must live in goodness, that you and I must live in goodness. That means living excellently. Not excellent clothes, excellent houses, excellent food, that comes secondary, but to live in excellence, that is, to the highest capacity of your affection, to the highest capacity of your seeing things as they are, to be excellent in not being selfish. Now, how am I to convey this to you in teaching English literature? You understand my question? Now, I'll show you how to do it. First, I would talk to you. Before the class begins about English literature, I would talk to you. I point out. Every day I would point out to you what's happening in the world, how corrupt the politicians are, what religion has become now. Superstition, miracles, and absurd gurus. How religion has divided people. Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, and so on. And in this very division brings about quarrels, antagonism. And I talk to you about love, what it means to be compassionate, not to pull a leaf off the tree as I see some of you boys and girls do as you walk by. You understand? Not to kill. I'll talk to you about all that. How to live properly. And in teaching you English literature, I will point out to you the beauty of language. The beauty of using the right word for the right feeling. How to speak properly. See the beauty of a poem, and whether you can write a beautiful poem. You understand? So that you and I, together, are creating this feeling. And through literature, through mathematics, through geography, whatever that lesson you have, I would see that this thing is carried on all the time. The way how you walk, the way how you sit and how you eat. All that is the very essence of goodness, which is the highest form of religion. Not eternally reading the Bhagavad Gita or the Upanishads and interpreting, putting all that rubbish. That's not religion. Religion means to live a life daily in goodness. Goodness being compassionate, kind, generous. That is education also. You've understood what I've said? Now, you are going to demand it from this teacher. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to ask the teacher to show you and live with you, live together in goodness. Then it will be a marvelous school. Such a school will never have existed before. So that we are together creating a new human being. Because the world is utterly mad. The world, the human beings in the world are destroying the earth. So, in a school of this kind, we are not only learning or acquiring knowledge from books, from experiments, in the field of science, biology, whatever you will, but also we are learning how to live. Not just one day, but live right through our life with this clear mind. You cannot have a clear mind if you are a selfish mind. You understand? If I am thinking about myself all the time, I can't have a clear mind. I can only have a very clear, logical, sane mind only when I am not thinking about when I am not selfish. And when I am not selfish, out of that comes goodness. You understand all this? Now, if you understand this, you must demand of your teacher that you and he or she find out day by day how to live this. Have you understood what I'm talking about? Huh? Are you going to ask your teacher? Or just go back and say, oh please, I'm bored, I'm tired, I want to be a little more smart, a little better looking, and all that thing goes on. And also, you must find out how to live all the rest of your days with love. That's one of the most difficult things to do. We are very good at mathematics, passing exams, getting a technological training. But we don't know what love is. We think love is pleasure. We think love is, as you see in the cinemas, in books, sex. And if you begin to inquire together, the teacher and you will find love is not pleasure. Love is something totally different. Love is not jealousy. When we say, I love my country and I'm going to fight for that country, that's not love. When you kill something to fill your tummy, because you have lived with cruel people or conditioned by them, that's not love. So you have to learn. As you are learning mathematics, you have to learn what love is. You understand all this? And also you have to learn what meditation is. To have a very quiet mind. And that's quite a difficult problem. I won't go into that because that requires enormous inquiry. And that demands a very, very, very serious mind. And also, you must understand what this problem of death is too. So you have to understand meditation, death, love, and to live in goodness from day to day. That's real education. That's real meditation, real religion.
The second extract is from the first talk in Ojai 1979 and is titled, Is Goodness Possible in This World?
We'll go into that word good, if we may, because most people, the intellectuals, the highly cultivated minds, think good is rather impossible word. They don't like that word because it's rather shy-making word. You following all that? But I think we should stick to that word in spite of them. So we must go into that, to the meaning of that word. To be good. Because you cannot have a good society which has been the dream of ancient Indians, Hindus, ancient Greeks and Egyptians and so on, to bring about a good society. And a good society can only exist when there is a good man. Because being good, he creates goodness, brings about goodness in his relationship, in his actions, in his way of life. So we must be very clear in the understanding of that word, good. Don't despise that word. Good also means that which is beautiful. Good also means that which is holy. It's related to God, to the highest principles and so on. So, that word good needs to be very deeply understood. When there is this goodness in one, then whatever you do will be good. Your relationships, your actions, your way of thinking, and so on. So please, as we are thinking together, let us examine that word. Because one may immediately capture the whole significance of that word. The extraordinary quality of that word. Instantly. But generally people don't. They want an explanation of what it is to be good. The speaker is not ashamed to use that word. You may spit on it. Generally, the intellectuals do. They say such thing doesn't exist anymore. We're going to find out what it means. Goodness is not the opposite of that which is bad. Please carefully let's think over this thing together. Because this is going to, if you really go into this very deeply, it's going to affect your consciousness. It's going to affect your way of thinking. It's going to affect the way of your life. So please give little attention to the understanding of that word. First, the word is not the thing, right? I may describe the mountains most beautifully, paint it, make a poem, but the word, the description, the poem is not the actual. But we're generally carried away emotionally, irrationally, by the description, by the word. So please, we are pointing out the word is not the actual. So we are saying goodness is not related to that which is bad. The good is not the outcome of the bad. Goodness is totally unrelated to that which is ugly, which is not beautiful. So goodness is by itself unrelated to that which we may consider evil, ugly, bad. That's the first thing to comprehend in thinking over together. If you say the good is the outcome of the bad, the evil, the ugly, then the good has in it the bad, the ugly, the brute. You understand? You understand this? No? The good must be and is totally unrelated to that which is not. And the good cannot possibly exist when there is any acceptance of any authority. Right? I'm going to go into, please, we are thinking together over a very, very serious problem. Authority is very complex. There is the authority of law, which man has put together through many, many centuries. There is the law of nature. There is the law of our own experience, according to which we obey, according to the law of our own petty reactions, which dominate our lives. Then there is the law of institutions, the law of organized beliefs, which are called religions, dogmas. We are saying goodness is totally unrelated to every form of authority. Please look at it, examine it, understand it. Don't reject it. So say it's too complex, we don't understand. It's very simple. If you examine it, if you apply your mind to it. Goodness is not the pursuit of conformity. If you conform to a belief, to a concept, to an idea, to a principle, that's not good, because it creates conflict. The essence of goodness is a mind that is not in conflict. Examine it, look at it. Goodness cannot flower through another, through a religious figure, through dogma, through belief. It can only flower in the soil of total attention, in which there is no authority. You're following all this? Is this all too complex? And goodness implies great responsibility. Can't be good and allow wars to take place. So a man that is really good is totally responsible for all his life. So we'll go into that. So we're asking, can a man who has lived in a society where the pressures of institutions, pressures of belief, pressures of authoritarian religious people, can such a man be good? You following all this? Please give your minds to this. Because it's only if you are good, if you as a human being, totally and absolutely good, absolutely, not partially, then we'll create a different society, a good society. So, our question then is it possible, living in this world, married, children, jobs, is it possible to be good? Good in the sense we are using it carefully. in which is implied great responsibility, care, attention, diligence, love. That is, whole of that word good contains all that. Is that possible for you who care to come here? Listen, is that possible for you? If it is not possible, then you accept the society as it is. Please, this is very serious, as we pointed out. This is not for little children. This is not for those who do not want to think through a particular aspect of life. This demands your attention, that means your energy. Human beings have plenty of energy. When they want to do something, they do it. This demands immense energy. That is, if we want to create a different society, a society which is essentially good, in the context which you are using that word. Now, having stated that, what prevents us? You understand my question? What prevents every human being who's here from being utterly good? What is the barrier? What is the block? Why don't human beings, you be utterly, sanely good? Is it we are caught up in our own petty reactions? Please examine it, don't throw it out. Our reactions. Say, I like, I don't like, I'm angry, reaction, sensory reactions, which gradually become psychological facts, which we accept. But all reactions, sensory as otherwise, are really very petty and shallow. Is that what's preventing us? Please, this is not a group therapy. The speaker has a particular abomination for that kind of nonsense. We are thinking together. We are investigating together. We are not accepting what the speaker is saying or denying it, but finding out. To find out when one must apply one's energy. If one is satisfied with the world because you have money, you have got a car, a nice wife or a husband, and everything is satisfactory, then you're just a non-existent human being. It's a man who observes, who realizes what the world is, and he is the world, and the world is not different from him. He has created that world. He has created that society. He has created the religions with their dogmas, rituals, with their separatisms, with their factions. But there are innumerable dogmas and beliefs. Human beings have created it. Is that what is preventing us? Because you believe. Or you're so self-concerned with your own problems. Sexual, fears, anxiety, loneliness, wanting to fulfill, wanting to identify with something or other. Is that what is preventing a human being from being good? Please, this is not rhetoric. This is where we're asking something very, very, very serious. If they are preventing, then they have no value. You will naturally put all that aside. Because you see that to bring about this quality of goodness, any pressure from any direction, your own belief, your own principles, your own ideals, utterly prevent that goodness from being, then you will, if you see that, you will naturally put it aside without any equivocation, any conflict, because that's stupid. So we're asking, is this what is preventing you? Human beings right throughout the world. It isn't only in America, in this country, that there is this great chaos, disorder, the danger to life. It is in Europe, in India, everywhere, this spreading more and more and more. And any man, any serious observer of himself as well as the world must be asked this question. You see, sirs, the scientists, the politicians, the philosophers, please listen to all this. The gurus, whether they come from India or from Tibet or from your own country, they have not solved our human problems. They give you all kinds of theories. Nor the psychoanalysts, they haven't solved the problem. Nobody will. We have to solve these problems ourselves because we have created the problems. And we are unfortunately unwilling to look at our own problems. To go into them, investigate why we live as we do. Utterly self-concerned, selfish lives. So we are asking, why do we human beings live the way we are living? Our education doesn't help us to solve our problems. We may get a good job. You may call yourself a doctor, PhD, and so on, so on. But your own their own lives our lives are not changed by them. So we're asking, can this goodness, with its beauty, with its holiness, that word means that. Can we live that way? And if we cannot, then we will accept this increasing danger of chaos to our own lives, to our children's lives, and so on, down the line. So after listening, are we thinking together? Are we seeing the same thing, you and I together? The same thing. Or we have explanations for all this. Or we say, well, somebody else is going to alter our lives. An external force, external agency, God, ideas, principles. Are they going to change our lives? So far they have not, and they never will, because ideals, concepts, images, all those are self-created. Created by human beings, out of their own confusion, out of their own misery, out of their own ugliness, confusion. So you see, we are deceiving ourselves all the time. So come to the question then, what will make us change? You understand my question, sir? More shocks? More catastrophes? Different forms of governments? Different images? Different ideals and so on. You have had varieties of these, and yet we are not changed. More sophisticated, better education. The more civilized we are becoming. Civilized in the sense more away from nature, we are becoming more inhuman. Right? So what shall we do? As none of the things outside of us is going to help, including all the gods, then it becomes obvious. Only I have to understand myself. I have to see what I am and change myself radically. Then goodness comes out of that. Then one can create a good society. So are we willing to go into this question, to know oneself? To understand oneself, because oneself is the world. You understand, sirs? Human beings, whatever their color, their religion, their nationality, their beliefs, human beings right throughout the world psychologically, inwardly suffer. They go through great anxieties, great loneliness, extraordinary sense of despair, depression, a sense of meaninglessness of living the way we do. Right through the world, psychologically, they are similar to each one of us. That's a reality, that is truth, that's an actuality. So you are the world, psychologically, and the world is you. So when you understand yourself, you're understanding the whole human structure and nature. It's not mere selfish investigation. Because when you understand yourself, you go beyond yourself. There's a different dimension comes into being.
The third extract is from the fourth discussion at Brockwood Park School in 1982 and is titled, "You Can't Be Generous Without Love."
All the values which society has created are false. All the religions which man has invented are false. Right? They are inventions of thought. So, generosity. You can't be generous if you have no love. Have you? That love which is generous? Not giving few shirts or few something or exchange. I mean, that capacity to love somebody. So, or love, which is generous, which never holds, you know. And you said freedom. The word freedom, I believe is its origin in love. These are all the contributory factors for the flowering of a good human being. Right? Don't learn it by heart. We should memorize and say, I'm going to work that way to achieve all these things. We should be another story of success. Right? So, do you see, now wait a minute, do you see all these factors as one? Not separate. The sensibility, cooperation, force, thought, generosity, love. 6 of 7. Do you see them as separate or they're all interrelated? And therefore one. You understand? Which, no, don't agree with me. Do you see it actually as one movement, not separate streams, all then forming one river. Or they're all interrelated. If you see that actually they're all interrelated, then there is only one factor, which is love. Right? Love means no attachment. Learn about yourself. Learn. See what attachment means. Fear of change. You follow? To be attached to a person, to a belief, to an idea, to a concept. You're getting tired? Huh?
Could we just go a little bit deeper into...
Oh no, that's not bad. We haven't got time. We say, Steve asked a question, which is, what are the factors at Brockwood Park, at this place, which will bring about a good human being? Which include, goodness implies a holy human being, whole, not broken up. A flower that is full, rich, is not broken, has all its petals, all its perfume, all its color. It's not broken up, all the petals are torn. So we've said these are the factors. Now, have you learnt about all this here at Brockwood? So that when you leave this place, you are an unshakable human being. You understand, you've got tremendous intelligence, and therefore great vitality, enormous strength. And therefore not a mediocre human being.
The fourth extract is from the 7th talk in Ojai 1949 and is titled Generosity Comes with the Ending of Meanness.
I am resentful, I am hateful, I hate people, and it causes pain, and I am aware of it. What am I to do? It's a very disturbing factor in my life. What am I to do? How am I to really be free of it? Not just kind of momentarily slough it off, but fundamentally be free of it. How am I to do it? Now, it is a problem to me because it disturbs me. If it wasn't a disturbing thing, it wouldn't be a problem to me, would it? Because it causes pain, disturbance, anxiety. I think it's ugly. Therefore, I want to get rid of it. Therefore, the thing that I am objecting to is the disturbance, isn't it? I give it different names according to at different times, different moods. I call it one day this and one day another thing another. But the The desire basically is not to be disturbed. Isn't that it? Because pleasure is not disturbing, therefore I accept it. I don't want to be free from pleasure. But there is no disturbance, at least for the time being. But hate, resentment are a very disturbing factors in my life, and I want to get rid of. So what I am concerned is not to be disturbed. And I am trying to find a way in which I shall never be disturbed. And why shouldn't I be disturbed? I must be disturbed to find out, mustn't I? I must go through tremendous upheavals, turmoils, anxiety to find out, mustn't I? Because if I'm not disturbed, I shall go to sleep. And perhaps that's what most of us do want. To pacify, to be put to sleep, to get away from any disturbances. To find isolation, seclusion, security. So if I do not mind being disturbed, really, not superficially, I don't mind being disturbed because I want to find out. Then my attitude towards hate, towards resentment surely goes, doesn't it? Then, if I do not mind being disturbed, then the name is not important, is it? Then the word hate is not important, is it? Or resentment against people is not important, is it? Because then I am directly experiencing that state that word which I call resentment. That experience which I call resentment. I do not know if I'm explaining myself. That is, anger is a very disturbing quality, as hate and resentment. And very few of us experience anger directly without verbalizing it. If we do not verbalize it, if we don't call it anger, surely there is a different experience there, is there not? Because we term it, we reduce a new experience or fix it in the terms of the old. Whereas if we do not name it, then it is an experience which is directly understood. And this understanding brings about a transformation in that experiencing. Am I making myself clear? Let's please, it's not simple. Take for example, meanness. Most of us are unaware of it if we are mean. Mean about money matters, mean about forgiving people, mean, being mean. I'm sure we are familiar with that. Now, being aware of it, how is one to be free from that quality, not become generous? That's not important point. To be free from meanness implies generosity. You haven't got to become generous. First, obviously, one must be aware of it. You may be very generous in giving a large donation to your society, to your friends, but awfully mean in giving a bigger tip. You know what I mean by mean. One is unconscious of it. When one becomes aware of it, what happens? Then we exert our will to be generous. We try to overcome it. But if we do not do that, which is after all, the exertion of will to be something is still part of a meanness in a larger circle. And if one is aware of it, one tries to overcome it, discipline oneself to be generous, and so on and so on. If we do not do any of those things, but merely be aware of what are the implications of meanness, and do not give it a term, then you will see that there takes place a radical transformation. Anger, if you do not give it a term, but merely experience, not through verbalization. Because the verbalization is a process of dulling the experience. But if you do not give it a term, it is acute. It becomes very sharp. Then it acts as a shock. And it is only then that it is possible to be free. Please, experiment with this. First, one must be disturbed. It's obvious that most of us do not like to be disturbed. We think we have found a pattern of life, the master, the belief, whatever it is, and they're settled down. Like having a good bureaucratic office, job, and their function for the rest of one's life. With that same mentality, we approach various qualities of which we want to be rid. But if we see the importance of being disturbed, being inwardly insecure, not being dependent, because surely it's only in insecurity that you discover, that you see, that you understand. Like a man with plenty of money, at ease, surely he will never be disturbed. He doesn't want to be disturbed. So disturbance is essential for understanding. And any attempt to find security is a hindrance to understanding. And when we want to get rid of something, which is a disturbing quality, it surely is a hindrance. And if we can experience a feeling directly without naming it, I think we will find a great deal in it. Then there is no longer a battle with it, because the experiencer and the thing experienced are one, and that is essential. As long as the experiencer verbalizes the feeling, the experience, then he is separate. Then he acts upon it. And that such an action is an artificial, illusory action. But if there is no verbalization, the experiencer and the thing experienced are one. And that integration is necessary to be radically free.
The final extract in this episode is from the fourth talk in Bangalore, 1974, and is titled, Are You Generous in Your Heart?
There is a cause to everything. And the cause becomes the effect. Please listen. The cause becomes the effect. And the effect becomes the cause. So you're caught in that. Cause, effect, effect becoming cause. Your mind is caught in that. The cause of this misery around us and in us, the confusion, is very simple, isn't it? The cause. Each one is so colossally selfish. Each one wants his own little house, his own little wife, his own little stupid gods and all the rest of it. He's never generous. Never. Are you generous? Are you? In your heart, not with your money, who cares? With your heart, with your mind. Are you generous? That means generosity means giving, never withholding, therefore never hurt, therefore never getting, there's never a sense of forgiving. So, the cause of all this misery in ourselves and around us is this egoism, this appalling selfishness, this total indifference. I was once driving with some friends. They were discussing very, very argumentatively awareness, attention. And the driver was rather careless. He was looking somewhere else and ran over a goat. And my friends behind in the seat were still discussing awareness. Never knew that the goat was bleating, hurt. And their awareness was in abstraction, not a reality. And you are doing the same thing. You are not aware of what is going on around you. But you are cultivating awareness. Awareness means care. Care what you are doing in the office or at home. Care for your children. How they are brought up. Care means affection. Care means love. You don't love your children. And that's the tragedy. You want them to grow up to be like yourself. Safe, get married, a little job and a house. And you call that security. And that is the final achievement. So you have You are the cause of all this. You are the cause, and the effect is all that. Unless you undergo radical change, regeneration, the effect will go on.